Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I want to just show you one game from the peak of my chess career. So firstly, what do I mean by peak? I don't mean the peak of my ability, but rather the peak of my win rate, the peak of my results, sorry. Um, in other words, um, this point of my chess career was when I had the highest strength compared to my opponents at the time. This year, I believe, was from 2018 to 2019, and I want to show you a game I played on the 27th of January 2019. So if I just make my webcam a bit smaller so you can see the chessboard, that should be all right. So here's the board. I kicked off the game by, oops, not that, that doesn't count. I played d4. Um, and he played d5. I played c4, which is the Queen's Gambit, not the Netflix series. I don't think you should associate them with each other. These are two different things. This is the opening called the Queen's Gambit. The definition for opening I already discussed in my other video a little bit. It's basically the name given to a specific set of moves played in the start of the game. He played e6, which is the Queen's Gambit, declined because he didn't accept my pawn, which was a gambit. He declined it. So then as the game went on, I played knight c3. This is all theory. Knight f6, bishop to g5, pinning the knight, and bishop to e7, unpinning the knight. I played e3 just to open up this bishop, knight b d7, and I'm just looking at my score sheet right now. Knight to f3, pressure on the center, and h6 by him. I went bishop to h4, maintaining the pressure. It's not a pin anymore, but it's still pressure. Castles, c takes d5, e takes d5, and bishop to d3. He went c5, lashing out at my center, and I played castles kingside. Just a simple move, sidestepping anything that could be dangerous, such as this. Now my king is safely tucked away on the king side. He went to pawn to b6, just in order to open up this bishop, a new avenue for success for his bishop there, right on that square on e4. It doesn't mean the bishop goes there, it just means it influences a knight jump into that square. And what I did to counter that is just counter in the center. If your opponent tries to play on the wing, you play in the center. I played knight e5, and he went bishop to b7, just to prevent any nasty forks I may have had going on to like this, for example. He went bishop b7. And then I played queen to f3, getting my queen into this. This looks like a Pillsbury attack, in my opinion. You know the Pillsbury attack, right? Where they play queen here, queen there, and then just completely dominate the black king. That's what I was doing with this, the Pillsbury attack. Nice thing, you should learn it. He played knight takes e5, and I went d takes e5. Knight d7 and bishop to g3, just to protect this pawn right there, which he was attacking. So he went knight to b8, which is a slightly dodgy move, and in my opinion, an inaccuracy. Just because, um, just because, well, it's a big waste of time. I can see his plan. Maybe he wants to go there or reroute his knight somehow, but that's a big waste of time. And by the time he's got his knight into the game, before he knows it, I've already checkmated him. So let's see how I exploited this inaccuracy. I played queen g4, bishop c8. It looks like he's retreating even more, but I think this is a necessary retreat, just to chase the queen away from that g-file. So I had to play queen to h5, the only, in my opinion, good square in that situation for the queen. He went bishop e6, redeveloping the bishop, repurposing it to, well, protect this pawn, and I guess he prevented my queen from getting into this f5 square, an avenue to get to h7. So that's a win for him, maybe, in his books. So I played f4. Look at this move. Not only does it strengthen my powerful center, which was already strengthened, it also threatens to play f5, attack the bishop, and perhaps even go f6, which was always looming after this f4 move. Very scary stuff for him. He played a c4. Actually, before we continue, and before my internet becomes better again, silly internet, um, I just want you to look at the position and assess it. So maybe you should pause the video. How would you assess this position? Winning for white, winning for black? Who's better? Who's worse? Oh, flip the board like this so you can see black's view. So first we need to talk about king safety, and that's the number one thing. Whose king looks safer? My king or his king? Well, of course it's my king, simply because his king is under attack and mine is very, very safe. His king is definitely unsafe, therefore. What else? What other factors do we need to look at? And the second factor, I think it has to be piece activity. It kind of links to king safety because if your pieces are active, it causes your opponent to have less king safety. So because of this, I clearly have much more piece activity. All my pieces apart from this rook are in the game, and for him only 2 pieces are in the game. Well, technically 3. Then there's pawn structure. Pawn structure is kind of a tiny factor in this situation itself because, well, there's still too many pieces on the board to decide. Yes, technically I have a worse pawn structure because of the doubling of this pawn, but this doubling does have a purpose, and that is to prevent or to reduce the effect of any d4 pawn breaks that black might have. Also, technically, I have the more powerful pawn structure, the pawn structure that can be more invasive against his king. So maybe I have the stronger pawn structure, who knows? We need to look at not just piece activity, but also specifically queen activity, and my queen is definitely greater than his queen. Therefore, I have the Queen of England and he has the Queen of... Anyway, then I think that's it, really. King safety, piece activity, pawn structure, queen activity, and was there one more? Material. Yes, material is equal anyway. Overall, I should be better in this position if you assess in that way. Let's continue. This is useful to do in a long chess game if you have that much time to sit down, assess, and to see weaknesses. In this situation, the weakness is this, f5, f6, causing another weakness, bishop h4, bishop h6, rook f3, rook g3. This is useful, but I have to actually execute it onto the board. So how did I do that? After he played c4 and bishop c2 and bishop c5, just trying to distract me from my purpose in this game. I played, well, I didn't care. I played f5. I didn't care about this pawn. Take it if you want. He did take it because he wanted to. I played king h1. So why am I giving up a pawn for no reason? Well, first of all, who said it was for no reason? You can see that there's tempo on this bishop. Tempo means time, for those of you who may have not known. He played, after this, he played queen to g5, actually, which was a mistake, in my opinion. Just play bishop d7, I guess. That's what he should have done. But in defense of him, I had f6, and that is a bit too terrifying. In fact, let me turn on the engine to see what it says. In fact, it says knight takes d5 is completely winning. And that's because if this random move happens, oh, the bishop's being attacked, and also there's f6, yeah. So that's why he played queen to g5, attacking my queen, and initiating the queen trade. After I traded queens and bishops, I won the bishop, actually. He took this, which was a mistake, and wait, let me... now I want you to pause the video and find a shocking move. Well, it's not quite shocking once you see it, but it is shocking when you don't see it. So pause the video, and I want to show you that move now. So that move is bishop to h7. Can you believe that? It's a powerful move, and you may be thinking, why did this Don give up this bishop for no reason? Go back to Croydon. He decided to take my bishop, and I took his rook. And that was the purpose of my move. This tactic is called dislodging the guard, is what I like to call it. Because what is the guard? The guard is the king, and it's guarding this rook over here, which is being attacked by my rook. Once the bishop dislodges the guard, now I can take the rook for free. And overall, I've won a rook and lost a bishop, which is an overall win. After this, it was only a matter of time before I converted the game. I'm a whole rook up right now. Maybe he has 2 pawns of compensation and nothing else. Knight d5, e6. Then after this, I took here, and eventually, this, whatever. I played rook d to d8, c3, b takes, bishop to f4. Oh, he takes bishop to f4. He took, and I took, and then he lost here after c2, rook h8, and that's how I converted into checkmate. So that is the end of that game. This is the game that it didn't secure me from winning the tournament. That was the game after. This was the penultimate game of the tournament that I played, but it made sure that I stayed at the top. It didn't secure, but it made sure. So I hope you enjoyed that game. Let's just look at it quickly from the start, just to see if anything was missed. It was a normal Queen's Gambit declined game, and then I played the Pillsbury attack, and he made the critical error of deciding to shuffle his pieces too much and not take. He didn't take my attack too seriously. He turned a blind eye towards it, and the rest of it was just domination. I forced him to give up a bishop, which he did, and then I found this nice little tactic to win his rook, and then the rest was carnage, absolute carnage, and checkmate after. By the way, this is checkmate because first of all you can't take the rook because the rook is there. You can't move there because the rook is there. The pawns are blocking you, and you can't move to g6 because the knight is there, right there. So yeah, that is a perfect example of how I used to play during my peak. I used to develop on my piece, which is what I do now, but I used the Pillsbury attack. Maybe I should return back to it, and I think I should. I should return back to d4 openings again, because they encapsulate my personality and my style better than e4 openings ever have. So yeah, this is a perfect example of how I used to play during the peak of my chess career as I describe it. See you in the next video. Maybe I should do a part 2 to this. What do you guys think? Um, um, and make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share this video with your chess friends, and see you later.